Today we're at the Ernie Meyer show, and today's guest is Gina, and she is writing a new book that'll be available on the 21st, and I'll let her tell you about that. But she talks about being a super mom, and I can tell you from experience from raising 3 children that I always said, I wish I had a manual. And this is the best thing to a manual. I think that would be a great asset to people that are struggling and trying to maintain their sanity while raising their children. And I would even recommend this for parents, for men, because I know myself, when different circumstances happened with my first wife, I was more or less the person that raised the children and didn't do the greatest job that I wanted to do. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Gina, and I'm going to let her tell you about her upcoming book and how she came to aspire to write this particular book. Gina, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, Ernie. I appreciate the invitation to be here and connect with your audience. And you know what I have found? Well, the name of my book, first of all, is You Are a Supermom: 5 Ways to Reclaim Your Superpower and Thrive as a Mom. And if there was ever a time where we became disempowered, it was a year staying at home with our kids, more than a year for a lot of us. And it's not natural, I don't think, for us as parents to be with our kids in such close quarters for so long. And it's just the nature of it. It was, at least for me, having teenagers and tweens at home, it was a very challenging time. And I knew that me being mom, and I'm a single mom, I became a single mom in 2017, that they look to me for guidance, support, and strength. And so if I'm, flying off the handle every day, losing my temper or stressed out, then they are going to have that experience as well. And so it becomes the first priority every day is, how am I going to fill my bucket up and come from a place of calm and security. So I have a dog outside, and I just want to apologize if that's a sound. I can definitely take care of it. Okay.
That's quite all right, because let's the audience know that we're just normal people with normal everyday lives. And luckily my dog doesn't hear your dog barking, so it's upstairs and it doesn't bark. So reminder to everybody that you're listening to the Ernie Meyer show, and you're on it right now. And Gina is our guest, and she's talking about how to be a super mom. And I know what it's like to be a dad, because I wasn't a super dad. I wanted to be. So let me explain to you more, and let Gina explain why she gave this particular topic and what inspired her to write this, and what she's doing right now. And remember, if somebody you know can use this, like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Gina will be very happy, and she has a great, compelling offer at the end of this video. So make sure you watch to the end of this video. And I have a compelling offer as well. Gina, continue, please.
Yes. So it's interesting, is I had a group of advanced readers that read the book for me before its release date on September 21st. And the audience, some of them aren't even moms, and they read the book for me. Some of them are great. I have a great grandmother who read the book, and they are all coming back with feedback that this is valuable. This is helping me approach my grandchildren differently. And even every single person knows a mom, because we all have a mom, right? So there's application, I believe, for everybody, because I give simple tools that you can use. And it's based on 5 myths, the 5 myths of motherhood that we buy into. But for instance, a good mom always puts her children first is a myth that I aspire to debunk, because if you're not putting yourself first, mom, you're coming from a depleted place. And every day you're a little bit more depleted, a little bit more depleted. And I found, I have 3 children. So I found that on those days when I was depleted, I didn't sleep well, or I had argument with their father when we were together, I was more prone to flying off the handle, losing my temper, and not being the best mom that I could be. And the thing that I really encourage with moms is that these changes that I present in the book, it's taken me 5 years to learn how to really, what does it mean to put myself first in a way that serves my children the best. And I'm still, working through that balance, because there's always curveballs that are thrown your way. And it's not necessarily the stress that coming at you that causes the problem, it's how you react to it. Mm-hmm. And so the encouragement is to move into a place of healthy response rather than the, oh my gosh, chaos reactive mode that we tend to go towards when we're already revved up. So I offer to, and kind of my signature at being a wellness professional, I've been a fitness instructor and personal trainer for 25 years. And the reality is, when you're a mom, there's not a lot of time to exercise, to fill yourself up. So I offer what I call 1-minute wellness solutions, where it might be just getting up from your chair and putting your head on the end of your couch and just stretching and breathing, and finding those little ways to reboot yourself throughout the day so that it doesn't snowball into stress upon stress upon stress to where you're just exhausted and depleted by the end of the day. So I'm a big believer in simplicity and ease.
It's amazing that you said it's taken you 5 years to learn how to put yourself first. Mm-hmm. And in my training, and what I tell people and how they can be a middle-class support thinker to a world-class or abundance thinker, it takes years. And I compare it to my black belt training. It takes 2 years or 2 days, or there goes my aneurysm again. It takes 2 hours to teach everybody every move it's necessary to become a black belt, but it still takes 4 years or more, because you need practice and training and practice and training. And it sounds like, Gina, you needed self-practice and self-training and learning how to become first. I'd like to hear more of that, but the audience, I want to remind you, you're listening to the Ernie Meyer show, and he's live right now, and you'll be seeing this in a rerun. And if you don't know what a rerun is, watch Back to the Future Part 1, where the guy says, "What's a rerun?" And he says, "You'll find out." Anyhow, if you think that something here can help you, please like, share, comment, and also make sure that you subscribe to our channel and share this with everybody who can use this. And please continue with us, Gina.
Yeah, you mentioned the super dad, the Supermom, super dad, and not to leave men in the audience out. I think men are definitely subject, maybe in a different way, the pressures of being the provider, perhaps, or being the stronger person who lays down the boundaries and the rules. And there is a dynamic, and I do think that there's value here for men in the book, even though it's called "You Are a Supermom." And the other thing I wanted to say is, I know there's an image of a supermom person, and I call it in my book, the traditional supermom is that woman who is just always there to pick up the pieces, holding the family together, doing it all, making sure that everything looks tidy and perfect. And it's actually the opposite. In my book, a supermom is that woman who stands in her fullness. And this is right in the introduction of my book. I talk about standing in your fullness means that you take your entire life experience, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, and you say, I love all this. And it's all part of me. Even the obstacles. I mean, I have a very defiant oldest son who's now 18 and on his own. But I say in my dedication, he was my greatest teacher, because I'm a perfectionist, a recovering perfectionist. And I always imagined that all my kids would get good grades and go off to college, and, kind of that traditional thing that all parents sort of expect. And when he was clearly not following that path and going much the opposite, I really had to stop first blaming myself and saying, oh, where did I go wrong? Because that's the first place we go, is we think I did something wrong. Well, maybe he's just here to fulfill a certain purpose, and my job is to just kind of say, I got your back, and I'm here to help you and support you, and I love you. I don't necessarily agree with the choices you're making, but I'm here. And for me, the hardest thing was stepping back and saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to let you fall this time, because if I catch you every single time, especially as he approached being an adult, it was like, this is a disservice to you. So being a super mom also means maintaining healthy boundaries, where it's like, I am not going to allow the peace that I have in my heart to be disrupted because one of my kids is having an issue that's making them feel unsettled or unstable. It's me being stable and strong in my own heart that I know it doesn't make sense. Like, it seems like we should be there controlling and fixing. And I've spent most of my 18 years of motherhood trying to fix things and make things right. And I've just found it doesn't really work that way. It's when I started to really focus on myself and love myself more each day, that they're far from perfect right now. I mean, there's still a lot of dynamics that are going on in my family, but I've read my book 8 times, if that tells you anything. And every time I read it, I pull something away from it and say, gosh, why did I let that go? Why did I stop doing that practice of mapping out my 3 big tasks for the day and how I'm going to approach each of those things? Like, that's something I recently started implementing again. Because why? Because habits take a long time. When we're replacing a habit with something new, you take some steps forward and you slide back, and you slide forward, and it's just being easy on yourself and compassionate and understanding that these changes don't happen just like that. Ernie, you mentioned the manual, the guide to parenting. I know for my parents, it was Dr. Spock. And anything that Dr. Spock said was like, that was the goal, that was the religion. And so flip the calendar to 2003 when I had my first child, and there were probably 20 so-called parenting experts, and everybody had the answers. And I'm reading little bits of all the different books and just feeling like, well, I'm doing this all wrong. And it created more anxiety and stress for me. I try a little bit in one book. Well, okay, that sleep training book didn't work. Okay, I'll try this sleep training thing. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I as a mom, 18 years into it, I reflect, and this is really pulling a quote from my book, if I had spent as much time just taking care of myself and loving myself as I had on taking classes, on reading books and trying to get it right, I probably would have been in a more peaceful, calm place than putting all this stuff in. But that's really the nature of Western culture, is we figure things out by doing. And my book is proposing that we can figure things out better as a parent when we be ourselves. And being is hard to do when you're out there busy doing. And it does take a practice of slowing down. That's one of the things I say as a personal trainer in fitness, is actually slowing down is the new fitness. When you slow down, you get more power. It's not when you're spinning your wheels 100 miles per hour. There's not much power in that. But when you slow down and just, kind of allow yourself to breathe and expand, that's when, we can really open up. Another quote from my book is, allow yourself to grow, get big and expand, because the universe will fill you in ways that you never planned. And When I feel like when we sit and we think and we ruminate, we kind of box ourselves in. You talked about scarcity and abundance, and we can only like think what we've seen before. But when we just kind of open up in that more meditative space, we'll get those kind of Einstein moments of like, oh, that's brilliance, that's genius, that we can't necessarily get when we're trying to figure it out. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. That brings you to the part that great entrepreneurs will say, keep a pad and pencil by your bed because you'll wake up 3 a.m. with a great idea.
Yes.
You can't meditate more than sleeping, and you wake up and all of a sudden you have that great idea. That, it's really fantastic. You talk about slipping back and then going forward and slipping back. And all of us do that because we have a whole lifetime of habits that we have accumulated. And I know that for a fact, and I tie everything back to becoming a black belt, but it's all in a matter of what you want to do in life. And I know for myself, I can think about the law of attraction. I can think about different things and about how to think like a rich person or a world-class person. And I was rich once, but I was still thinking like a middle class. And that will stifle you, because when my business dried up, so did my income, so did my reserves, so did everything. So be prepared to slip back. This isn't an easy journey, but if you want to take this, if you want to become a better person, I know I'm going to buy that book. I want you to let me know when it's out there.
Yes. Yeah, it's already on pre-order right now on Amazon.
Oh man, that's fantastic. So, Gina, tell the world, tell the audience, what compelling offer you have for them, and what's it?
Yeah, I love to connect with people and really hear what are your challenges, what are you making forward progress on, and then experiencing slides back. Because I know for me, I've had about 7 different coaches in my 6 years in business, and they all offer different insights. And for me, the most powerful thing was just taking 20 minutes and talking with them and seeing, are we a good fit? Do we connect? And so I'd love to offer your listeners just a 20-minute time to talk by phone or Zoom and talk about your challenges, maybe as a parent, and where you are with that, what you've tried, and what your feelings are around that. And my goal would be to offer you at least one thing that you can take away and use right away to help you navigate that kind of murky territory of change.
That's wonderful. That's got to be worth a lot of, as far as monetary, that's got to be worth a lot of money to the person that's giving you a call. So, that's a great offer. And we're going to put that below this YouTube in the comments below, so that you'll be able to get a hold of Gina and talk to her and take her up on that 20-minute offer. And mine, of course, is a free interview. And if you want your 15, 20 minutes of fame, come on my show, the Ernie Meyer Show. And if you like what you've seen today, get a hold of me. I'll have my information down below, and like, share, comment, and make sure you subscribe. And that way you'll be up to date. We have already had people that have collaborated with each other who have had similar things. We had a rock star on here recently who just gave that all up and became free of drugs and what have you. And he became friends with somebody else that was on our show previously who had an addiction, and now they're collaborating and helping each other out. And I think that's great. And this is a wonderful thing, to be able to help each other. That's why these shows are so important. So please like, share, subscribe, comment. You'll hear that often. And we are with Gina. Are there any final thoughts that you would like to talk about?
I hear a lot, being a mom is tough, or being a business owner is hard. And shifting your mindset, and one thing that I started doing a couple of years ago is just saying, today my exercise session is going to be easy. Today being a mom is easy. And then you start to find evidence that you find evidence for ease instead of evidence for tough. So just be conscious of what you're telling yourself, what things roll through your head and come out of your mouth. Be very conscious of that, because you'll create your reality by your thoughts and your words.
It's very true. Andy Andrews, I knew him years ago. He's a best-selling author. He's known as the clean comedian. And he told me right to my face, he says, your best thinking got you to where you are today. And at that time, that was a slap in the face. Now I accept that and know that, all right, that's my best thinking. So again, you're listening and you're watching the Ernie Meyer Show. And if you want to be a guest on my show, just get a hold of me by using the link down below. And if you want to get a hold of Gina and take her up on her offer, the link will also be down there along with her video of her introduction. So we're going to put all that up there so you, the audience, can benefit from what we both have said here, and especially what Gina has said. I wish we had this book about 25 years ago. And
I do too. And just so people have a visual, this one's all tabbed up, but that's the book. That's what it looks like. So you have a visual. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I've got a black and white one here. I'm glad you got the color one. So
yeah, colors are great.
So we're going to sign off from now. And remember, you can make a living or you can design your life. Design it in many ways. Get your freedom in many ways. Get your vision. I'm Ernie Meyer from the Ernie Meyer Show, and I'm also the vision creator. I can help you create your vision, your purpose in life. Give me a call. Give me a link. Send me an email. Anything.